Welcome to the Explainer. Ever catch yourself scrolling through an online health offer and think, okay, how exactly is this pitch engineered to grab my attention? Well, today we are doing a total teardown of the GlucoTrust supplement pitch. We're going to objectively unpack the mechanics, the specific claims, and of course, the fine print. We're going to look at exactly how this offer is built, literally step by step, from the second you land on the page all the way to the final checkout screen.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the core promises, move into the ingredient profile, break down the science of sleep, look at pricing and bonuses, and finally, read the fine print. Let's look under the hood.
Section 1. The core promises.
So the pitch introduces us to the purported creator of the supplement, a guy named James Walker, and he comes right out of the gate with this hook. I want to share a formula with you that supports healthy blood sugar levels through the use of fantastic nutrients. Right away, bam, this establishes the product's foundational health angle. It's a highly targeted opening designed specifically to speak directly to folks who are actively seeking blood sugar support.
But you know what? The pitch doesn't stop there. Almost immediately, the scope completely expands. It moves way beyond just blood sugar regulation to promise healthy blood flow, reduced sugar and junk food cravings, and, interestingly enough, deep, rejuvenating sleep. The strategy here is crystal clear. They are casting a much wider net by addressing multiple, interconnected health anxieties all at the exact same time.
Moving on to Section 2, the ingredient profile.
Which leads us to the most logical question, all right? What exactly is in the capsule? They told us what it supposedly does, so now they need to tell us how it actually works to build up that credibility.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is their introduction of the first major ingredient, Gymnema Sylvestre. The pitch tells us this is a leafy vine used in traditional Indian medicine. But pay close attention to the supposed dual-action mechanism here. It's claimed to help restore healthy blood sugar levels while simultaneously curbing cravings. By leading with an exotic botanical that seemingly knocks out two birds with one stone, the pitch builds a really strong foundational narrative for the rest of the formula.
From there, the ingredient list just cascades rapidly. We've got licorice root highlighted for appetite control, cinnamon, which they dub the king of spices, for digestion and inflammation. Then there's juniper berries. The pitch gives these a really fascinating, maybe even a bit dramatic historical allure, tracing them all the way back to the tombs of ancient pharaohs and even athletes in the Roman Olympics. Then, boom, it pivots straight to clinical-sounding minerals, biotin, chromium, manganese, and zinc, all cited for their roles in metabolism and insulin stimulation. It's a highly intentional mix. They're blending the mystique of ancient herbal history right alongside the authority of recognized nutritional minerals.
But here is an absolutely crucial structural element to notice. Specific dosages for each of these individual ingredients, they aren't actually detailed in the sales text at all. Instead, they get bundled together into a proprietary narrative simply described as a blend of 15 herbs to regulate your body's natural hormonal balance. This is super clever because it allows the pitch to highlight all of these impressive-sounding ingredients without getting bogged down in the clinical math of milligrams and daily values.
All right, Section 3, the science of sleep.
And this brilliantly illustrates the specific biological argument the pitch is trying to make. They position sleep as way more than just rest. They frame it as a critical biochemical process. According to the text, a lack of deep sleep elevates your cortisol, which then leads to storing visceral fat. On the flip side, getting deep sleep keeps cortisol in check and boosts leptin, which is your hunger-controlling hormone. It's a really compelling cause and effect narrative that distills complex endocrinology into a very easily digestible problem.
To really drive this point home, the pitch focuses heavily on visceral fat. And I want you to notice the emotive, slightly alarming language used here. They describe it as a dangerous form of fat that literally wraps around your abdominal organs, supposedly caused by elevated cortisol from a lack of sleep. By agitating this specific problem, framing poor sleep as the direct creator of dangerous internal fat, the pitch brilliantly sets up the sleep-enhancing ingredients of the supplement as the ultimate necessary solution.
Next up, Section 4, pricing and bonuses.
Here is where we can really see the pricing psychology at work. As a consumer, you're presented with 3 tiers. One bottle is $69, plus a $9 shipping fee. But look at what happens when you buy in bulk. The 3-bottle option drops the price to $59 a bottle, and hey, they throw in free shipping. Go for the 6-bottle option, and it drops even further to $49 a bottle, again with free shipping. It's a classic structure. It's designed to incentivize the highest total purchase value, which is $294, by making the per-bottle savings and the free shipping feel just too logical to pass up.
To further remove any friction from actually clicking that buy button, the pitch leans heavily on a guarantee. Specifically, a massive 180-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. The text literally tells the buyer that they don't even need to explain why they want a refund, and it doesn't even matter if they never get around to trying it. It's a highly calculated move to totally lower the perceived risk of dropping nearly $300 on a supplement. And for the folks opting for those 90 or 180-day multi-bottle packages, the pitch adds in some digital bonuses. We're talking a green smoothie recipe book, a guide to superfoods, and a 3-day liver cleanse breakthrough. Now, because physical supplements actually take time to ship in the mail, offering these digital bonuses provides immediate instant download value. It essentially gives the buyer a hit of immediate gratification the very second their credit card clears.
Finally, right before checkout, the pitch layers on one last bit of brand goodwill, an environmental angle. They claim to partner with One Tree Planted, meaning a tree is planted for every jar sold. As the text neutrally puts it, with each sip of GlucoTrust, you're giving Mother Earth a little high five. It's a feel-good closer designed to alleviate any lingering buyer's remorse by attaching a charitable positive action right to the purchase.
Let's move to and see how this builds right into Section 5, the fine print.
Now, the legal language down here, which is provided by the retailer Digistore24, is extremely strict. The text explicitly states, and I quote, "The information provided is not intended to replace medical advice offered by a physician or other licensed healthcare provider." It is a really stark contrast to all those confident health and biochemical claims we saw earlier in the sales copy. It clearly, legally, delineates the line between marketing materials and genuine medical counsel.
Furthermore, the fine print clearly outlines that despite the highly specific biological mechanisms detailed in the pitch, the precise hormonal balancing of cortisol and leptin we talked about, there are absolutely no guarantees. The text explicitly notes that things like food intake, metabolism, and exercise are going to vary from person to person, meaning essentially no individual result should be seen as typical.
Which leaves us with this final thought as we wrap up our explainer today. When we deconstruct an offer exactly like this one, we are looking at a literal masterclass in consumer psychology. It seamlessly blends ancient herbal allure with modern biological buzzwords and packages the whole shebang with risk-free guarantees. But ultimately, it asks us a really critical question. How do we, as informed consumers, weigh these incredibly bold, persuasive marketing promises against the necessary, legally required medical realities quietly sitting down in the fine print? It's definitely something to think about the next time you find yourself scrolling through an offer online. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.